just to be clear. All right, 2 more startups to go. We are going to welcome to the stage Telagri. Give them a warm welcome.
Hi. Agronomists are bridges between science and farmers because they take science and they make it actionable for the farmers. But in most parts of the world, agronomists are so scarce that the farmers end up producing 4, sometimes 5 times less harvest per hectare. With climate crisis making it even worse, there should be a way how we could ensure the food security. That's why we built a platform connecting farmers with consultants for online consultation, just by sending photos, videos, and analysis. And it worked so well that Nika and David, they increased their corn and cherry yield by 35 and 40% relatively, just by sending $30 per hectare. We also helped more than 1,000 farmers from 5 countries by connecting them with consultants from another 7. We generated $10,000 in revenue, but more importantly, we learned from both sides that they prefer subscription cooperation rather than one-time fee. We heard that, so in May we added subscription as a feature. So now we have 2 revenue streams, from one-time consultation and from subscription for the farmers. One-time consultation works as a great entry point. As farmers, 26% of the farmers who tried our platform once, they moved to annual consultation. They came for one question, they stayed for 1 year. But we also learned that scaling one farmer at a time might be challenging. That's why we are putting these channels into an action. Some of them are already working great. For example, we contracted Food and Agricultural Organization, and we will deliver our solution for 10,000 customers, for 10,000 their beneficiaries in next 2 agricultural seasons. We also contracted one of the biggest banks of Georgia, and they will deliver our solution to 3,000 customers starting from next agricultural season, and one of the associations with 1,200 members on it. Our plan is to reach 80,000 subscription farmers by 2025, generating $200 million in revenue. And this 200 doesn't include the revenue from data, but the data about diseases, about production, about soil are super important to those value chain actors in the sector. There's only one competitor so far, only located in Canada, and they act more like as a forum, not as a marketplace. Our team has an experience of over 10 years working on international projects in Georgia, hands-on experience in Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. As we scale, we gather a lot of user-generated data that will allow us to automate 90% of consultations, to build the most powerful AI in the sector, and also decrease the cost for farmers, also helping increase the amount of our users. We're looking for 1.5 million. It will allow us to complete our customer acquisition testing. It will allow us to triple the amount of agronomists and hire our AI team. Thank you.
All the presentation, I had one question in mind. So how many farmers you are planning to acquire in the next year? And how many farmers exist right now? And is there any minimum, like if I have a small pan, of 1 acre, I don't know, is it like enough for me? Like what kind of user profile of farmers you're looking for? Like I say here, single farmers, or is it companies, or how do you know?
So thank you.
Classify that.
So we build the production for help individual farmers, but then we use those channels to scale. And back to your question, how big should you be to be able to register on our platform or use it? This farmer is producing corn. He paid $30 and he increased his yield by 35%, which translates into $12,000 US. So it makes sense for basically any size of the farmer, otherwise you're doing it in your yard, to get a subscription, because it could take you to a very significant increase in yield. Right now our farmers vary from 8 acres to 42. I'm just translating that from hectares to acres. But as we move on, we will more define who are our ideal customers. Banks, international organizations, they are great for our scaling because, as I mentioned, they delivered several thousands of farmers with just one contract. Right now, we have 37 subscription farmers who pay $200 per month, and that's the figure we want to increase up to 1,000 farmers for the next year.
I have a question, basically, when it comes to, if I understand correctly, the platform is basically that you're really connecting the farmers with the consultants, agronomists, right?
Correct.
And really the idea here is basically that if you have some diseases or something like that, they're helping you identify it and so on. Hence, churn here is going to be really big usually. So what really motivates the farmer to stay if basically they have one consultation, I change the fertilizer or something in the soil, I'm done. Also there is the aspect of seasonality. You know, a lot of those diseases are actually based seasons. So why do I stay the entire year if this specific disease is only for this season and I know that? As a farmer, they already know this.
First of all, there's so many problems that farmers are facing day to day. But generally, what we are planning to do is we want to build a platform that helps farmers mitigate the risk. When you have a disease, it might be already too late. You already lost X amount of your income. While when you have a consultant who describes what you need to do for the entire year and follows with you, because this prescription doesn't work in agriculture. There's a rain for 2 weeks. You cannot apply. You go back to consultant and you say, what should I do?
So it's more like you have a roadmap or strategic kind of like, action plan that you also follow up with the farmer.
Absolutely. Farmer gets prescription at the beginning of the year, and with consultant they follow together. And sometimes problems show up out of nowhere, and especially climate crisis is doing that. That new problem, new disease showed up, farmer has no idea how to cope with. So having this as a tool, like we compare it to One Medical by Amazon, it's like a security, additional insurance for farmer to address to his consultant anytime he needs help.
That makes sense.
I have two questions. One, what other options do they have to solve their problems? So the current farmers who are on the platform, what other options do they have? And second, what are you doing, what are you thinking about, have you considered smallholder farmers and how are you thinking to solve for that?
Currently, what farmers are doing, they approach input fertilizer companies, and we compare that going to drugstore rather than going to the doctor when you have a problem. So the farmers, they end up buying more fertilizers, and nobody actually cares, so farmer mitigates the problem. It's everybody's interest in that sector. The farmer has problems, so they end up buying more and more fertilizers. When it comes up to smallholder farmers, that's why we have one-time consultation. They get consulted for $30. Also, our plan is to automate all these consultations as we move on and as we collect this very interesting data. So then the small-scale farmers could also be able to use it. Right now, we are purely based on the amount of fee the consultants are charging from California, from Spain, from Italy, and that's why, exactly, they define basically a fee. So we are just playing a bridge here. But as we move on, that's where AI comes in. We want to automate all of this. So when farmer has a problem, we want the system to be able to consult. But
your AI is going to be trained on the people who are already on the marketplace. So you're not bringing in other people into the marketplace, e.g. a smallholder farmer in Sub-Saharan Africa. So how do you solve for that? Because we're still leaving them out. And this could solve it, right?
That's where FAO comes in. They have 10,000 users. They are very smallholder farmers. We have farmers who have 200 square meter of greenhouse, basically manually. They have small-scale farmers in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and all other 2 countries that we are planning to go in. Think of like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So our business model, or our go-to-market channel is to onboard organizations like that, so we democratize it. So that's.
So how much is this contract worth to you? I mean, what percentage do you think you can convert? How hard are they going to work to help you convert? They're certainly not mandating it, and they're not paying for it themselves. Are they, or are they? What's the deal?
The organizations are paying for it. When we are coming up, it's not going to be worth $200 per month per farmer.
Obviously.
And we're trying to find a way around it. For example, in most of the cases, the organizations work in particular region or in particular crop. So we are coming up with grouping them. So let's say, and the pilot project is going on as we speak, that farmers in one village, with one crop, they get one mentor. It's also good for knowledge sharing because when one farmer has a problem, generally the rest of them also have it. but also they learn how to cope with that particular problem.
So, and how many, I mean, so where you're going, it sounds like, is co-ops. Is there, I mean, is that common around the world in terms of co-ops, in terms of, right?
Yes, I mean, if you look at cooperatives, they deal with the problems together.
Yeah.
And especially when we want to bring this solution to the smaller scale farmers, we have to find a way how to do it.
Aggregate. So it seems like your pricing needs to be adjusted for the different customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Banks pay a different price.
Yeah.
Because they include the cost of our subscription into the loans they give out to the farmers. And it's a win-win situation for everyone, because if farmer does well, it's bank's primary interest too. So with banks, it's a different model. With organizations, we're trying to group them, trying to find the ways around so they can access this consultation.
So many solutions about smart farming and marketplace. How are you exactly really differentiating?
The first and most, there's a big answer to that, but most importantly, it's so much different when farmer is working with a human on next part of the phone rather than an AI or any kind of other smart solutions. And also, no matter what kind of smart solutions you have, is it a gadget, is it a drone, is it a satellite, somebody has to interpret that. And interpreting is the key, because otherwise it's just a data. And farmers are really difficult to, farmers find very difficult to read the NDVI indexes, to read what their sensors are saying. And that's where we come in and help those connect them with agronomists.
Thanks.
Thank you.